Salvete discipuli. In today's lesson, we will begin reading a story that uses nominative plural subjects. It turns out a group of actors is coming to Pompeii, and all of the people are excited to go see the show, except the story will end with a mystery when we learn that one person is apparently not attending. Actores. Actors. Okay, so before we begin this story, let's do a little review of what we recently learned. You had a tutorial video on the nominative plural forms and the verbs that you'll see go with them. So here's what we already knew. Puella, singular girl, becomes puellae, girls. Okay, that diphthong, that A and E together, we pronounce that like it's the English word I. So puellae is girls as a subject of a verb. Servus was the singular, slave. Now when we go plural, we replace it with a long I, servi. That's pronounced like if it was like a double E, servi. Canis was the singular, dog. Canes, E with a long mark, pronounced ace, is the plural of dogs. So be on the lookout. Two things are going to be different in a sentence that has plural. The noun is going to have one of these plural endings, but the ending of the verb is also going to change, okay? Instead of the T, we're going to have NT, okay? And the vowels before that can sometimes also change. You're not responsible to understand those yet, but for now, no, T is singular, NT is plural. All right, we dig into the story. Magna turba est in urbe. There's a large crowd in the city. Feminae et puellae sunt in turba. Women and girls are in the crowd. Okay, so sunt is the word that means are, okay? The singular would be est. Let's take a look at it. It's right here. There's the singular est. Now the plural is sunt, are in the crowd. Senes quoque et juvenes sunt in turba. Old men also and young men are in the crowd, okay? The word juvenes, meaning young men, if you change this I to a J, it's where we get the word juvenile. Servi hodie non laborant. Slaves today do not work, okay? Here's the NT ending. That's the plural ending that goes with this nominative plural subject ending there. Slaves today do not work. What this means is that the masters are actually giving them permission to not work because everyone wants to go see this show. And, you know, if they, like Caecilius is a good man, and he's going to give his slaves the day off to go to the theater. Senes hodie non dormiunt. Old men today do not sleep. Again, NT goes with nominative plural. I guess the point here is old men are like always sleeping, like they take naps all day long, but not when there's a show in town. Okay, if there's actors in town to put on a show, you know, they're going to certainly go. So at this time, by the way, just a little bit of cultural background. Pompeii owns a theater, but theater groups would tour around the ancient world, and they might come to a town and say, okay, we could put on this show or that show. How much money would you be willing to give us? And some rich person in the town is going to likely pay for the whole thing and make admittance free, because then everybody's going to like that person. You can say, oh, you know, he paid for that theater show we saw last spring, something like that. And then when he runs for office, he's going to say, hey, I put on that show for you guys. Vote for me. That's kind of how it works. Mercatores hodie non sunt occupati. Merchants today are not busy. Now, notice you have this I here, okay? This is a typo, ignore it. The es is the plural of a third declension, okay? But the I is the plural for the adjective, okay? So both of these are nominative plural. Pompeiani sunt otiosi. The Pompeians are at leisure or are chillin'. That was a common thing to say years ago. I don't know if kids even still say chillin' anymore. Urbs tamen non est quieta. The city, however, is not quiet. Pompeiani ad theatrum contendunt. The Pompeians hurry to the theater. Again, I'm going to stress this throughout the story. Nominative plural ending requires a plural verb. Magnus clamor est in urbe. There is a great uproar in the city. Agricolae urbem intrant. Farmers enter the city. Okay, so farmers usually don't enter the city, but news has gotten out that there's going to be this show, and so the farmers have made their way into the city. Now, look at this. That's a feminine ending, and yet the word farmer is farmer feminine? The answer is not necessarily, okay? Personally, I have relatives, my aunts who are farmers, okay? They're working the farm with their husband. Both of them are farmers. So, a woman can be a farmer, but if a man is a farmer, the word for farmer is first declension, just like puella, okay? But if you were to add an adjective to that, so if you were to say a good farmer and you're describing a male, it would be agricola bonus, okay? You would use the masculine form of the adjective. If you were describing a good female farmer, then it would be agricola bona. Nautai urbem petunt. Sailors head for the city. Okay, so just like agricola, the word sailor is first declension. It may or may not be describing a female. Pastores de monte veniunt et ad urbem contendunt. Shepherds come down from the mountain and hurry to the city. Okay, so this preposition de, it means down from. However, I would ask you to memorize also along that. Memorize that de means about, okay? You're going to see de meaning about a lot more than you're going to see it meaning down from. The English word pastor, as describing like the head of a church, is just simply the Latin word for shepherd. Turba per portam ruit. The crowd rushes through the gate. Nuntius in foro clamat. A messenger shouts in the forum. Actores sunt in urbe, actores sunt in theatro. Actors are in the city. Actors are in the theater. Priscus fābulam dat. Priscus is putting on a play. Okay, so Priscus is the name of a person. And when you say fābulam dat is putting on a play, that means he's paying for this, okay? He is some rich guy in Pompeii. He wants to run for office maybe. He wants the people to like him. And so he is getting their favor by putting on a play. Literally, dat just means gives, okay? So gives a play. The English word fable is derived from fābula, which means a play in a theater or just a story too. Priscus fābulam optimam dat. Priscus is putting on an excellent play. Actores sunt actius et sorex. The actors are Actius and sorex. Now, we know these are the actual names of real actors because excavated from Pompeii were signs advertising a show that had been put on, and these are the names of the actors. So there were two real actors named Actius and Sorex. Caecilius et Metella e villā discedunt. Now take a look at something here. We always use the preposition a, meaning out of, when we use the verb discedunt, to leave, okay? But that doesn't mean that you should necessarily translate a in your English translation, okay? So Caecilius and Metella leave the house is the best translation. You wouldn't want to say leave out of the house, okay? That would be an over translation. Argentarius et uxor ad theatrum ambulant. The banker and wife walk to the theater. This is talking about Caecilius and Metella. Clemens et Melissa ad theatrum contendunt. Clemens and Melissa hurry to the theater. Now note here, by the way, this is that plural ending, okay? You can have a nominative plural subject, but you can also have what we call a compound plural, okay? Clemens et Melissa logically becomes plural, even though each of them are singular alone. Sed Grumio in villā manet. But Grumio stays in the house. This is unusual. Why is Grumio not going to the theater with everyone else? In the next story, that mystery will be solved.